Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, dear students. Hope you all are fine. So today our new lecture or the new topic which we are going to start, that is the second reading of the first unit. We are already done the first reading of the first unit, which was his first flight, and now after that the second reading of the first unit, which is titled as First Year at Harrow, written by Sir Winston Spencer Churchill. So students, before starting this unit, first let me give you a very short intro about the author. About the author, here you can see on page 27, you can go through these three lines, but actually these are very short, so you can search on the Google as well. About author, you will find too much information which is also a part of this lesson. You need to know about Sir Winston Churchill as well. So just I have collected few important highlighted points about the author, which are like he was born in November 1874 and died on 24 January 1965. He was a British politician, army officer plus writer. He was a Prime Minister of the United Kingdom from 1940 to 1945, when he led the country to victory in the Second World War, and again from 1951 to 1955. Apart from 2 years between 1922 and 1924, Churchill was a member of Parliament from 1900 to 1964. And ideologically an economic liberal and imperialist, he was for the most of his career a member of the Conservative Party as a leader from 1940 to 1955, and he was a member of the Liberal Party from 1904 to 1924. So all this was about his political life, how he spent his life as an army officer and as a writer as well. But as we are concerned with his educational academic life, so here we will just discuss, or we will just learn about the Sir Winston Churchill as a writer. So, First Year at Harrow is an extract from autobiography of Sir Winston Churchill. It mainly deals with his admission and education at a prestigious institution of Harrow. He says that he always showed poor performance in examination, and he was poor in mathematics, Latin, and Greek. Here, students, you can see on page 26 the very first paragraph, which is about the opening lines of Sir Winston S. Churchill, and this is all about his educational academic life, that how he entered in the academic life and what were the problems which he faced. So his main issue when he entered in the examination was this, that he was poor in mathematics, Latin, and Greek, and he appeared in the entrance examination at Harrow, but he couldn't answer a single question. Why he couldn't answer a single questions? Because usually his main subjects, like that was for him, the main subjects were Latin and Greek and mathematics, but actually he was best in poetry, history, and in essay writings. So that's why he wanted to ask questions in those subjects, but as the main subjects were the Latin, Greek, and mathematics, so that's why he was very poor and he was very weak in those subjects. So you can just go through the question answers as well, in which the question they have asked and the answer of that question you will find in the first paragraph of this lesson. The question is, which subjects were dearest to Churchill and which ones were fanciest by the examiner? So the subjects which were dearest to Churchill were history, poetry, and essay, in which he wanted to be examined in these subjects. On the other hand, the examiners gave importance to Latin, Greek, and mathematics, and he was very weak in these subjects. Now, the headmaster, Mr. Weldon, like the headmaster of the first year at Harrow, in this lesson, they have mentioned in the very second paragraph that the Harrow College, the headmaster, the name was Mr. Weldon, and he took a broad-minded view of Churchill's Latin. And he showed wisdom in judging his general ability. Churchill didn't answer a single question in Latin paper, and he just wrote his name and a question number. Mr. Weldon thought that he was not capable of learning Latin. He might be able to do well in some other subjects like English. So he granted admission to him. And beside this, Mr. Weldon was a man of capable looking beneath the surface of things. So he was a man who did not judge students on a basis of their performance in papers, but by their general ability. And he was not dependent on paper manifestation. However, Mr. Weldon, like the headmaster at Harrow, he took a broad minded view of his Latin paper and favored him to enter in the Harrow. So, here, students, you can see the question number third. Let me give you a few important points of the paragraph third. Paragraph third, like Churchill, and you can go through the question as well. The question related to this paragraph is, why does Churchill think Mr. Weldon considered him to be worthy to pass into Harrow? So Churchill thinks Mr. Weldon considered him to be worthy to pass into Harrow because he considered him to be a man capable of looking beneath the surface of things, and that is why he considered him to be worthy to pass into Harrow. So Churchill considered Mr. Weldon a man not dependent upon paper manifestation. He might have judged that Churchill was better in English, although Churchill was not good at Latin and mathematics, yet he was not rejected. So it is a fact that a person may be weak at some subjects, but he may be strong at some other subjects, and this may have been as enough evidence to be considered by Mr. Weldon, and so he gave him a chance to enter Harrow. Now students, here you can see this is the on page 27, this whole paragraph in which you can cover your 2 to 3 questions, and you can go through the questions again, in which they have asked you about the Somerville's teaching methodology. So Churchill had, like we have already discussed, that Churchill had a very weak position at Harrow. He and some other weak students were not allowed to learn splendid subjects like Latin and Greek because they were considered dull students, for whom learning such classical languages were considered to be beyond their poor capability. So what they did, like they were put at the bottom of the school and they were taught subject of English only. Mr. Somerville, he was assigned the duty of teaching the dull boys to learn only English. And Mr. Somerville had an exceptional system of teaching English. Like how he was having the exceptional system of teaching English, he took a very long sentences. Here you can see Mr. Somerville, a most delightful man. So what was his teaching methodology? He took a very long sentence and broke it into its component by red, green and black inks, like subject, verb, object and clauses, etc. And each of these components has its color and bracket. So in this way, students understood every part of sentence easily by remembering the color of that word. And Churchill remained at Harrow for 3 years. He learned English in the best manner in this way. So he didn't feel himself at any disadvantage as compared to those who learn Latin and Greek, because the learners of Latin and Greek had advantages only in their academic life. When these students, after that, what happened, like there were different 2 categories of the students, which we have already discussed. That one students category was put in the best classes of the Latin, Greek and mathematics, and the dull students, they were just allowed to learn English language only, and that responsibility was given to Mr. Somerville. So when these students entered practical life, they had learned English to earn their living, and he learned English language in such a good manner that essential structure of ordinary British sentence got into his bones. And he was proud of some good students who learned Latin and Greek had to come down again to common. So in this way, in everyday life, like this gave Churchill another advantage over others. So he was an expert in English language, and he was certainly at disadvantage in his academic life, but he gave straightforward lead over others in practical life. So this is a reason why Spencer Churchill was in favor of English, and he would even punish those who do not learn English. So hope students, like the lecture is quite clear to you, that you have learned about Sir Winston S. Churchill, that how he was just passed through the examination and how he was entered in the Harrow College, and then what were the problems which were faced by him. Now students, what you need to do, you need to go through the lesson again here on page 26 and 27. And by going through the lecture or by going through the lesson again, then it would be very easy for you while solving this exercise. Here you can see on page 29, recalling question answers, quite easy, very easy, that you will also find the answers in my lecture. Interpreting question and extending. Now students, just in extending you will find the two different questions which were not mentioned in the lesson and which I didn't discuss even in the lecture as well. So what are those questions? Like, do you think Churchill is only interested in telling his story, or there is something more to it? As students, it depends on you that how you write the answer of this question, but the answer definitely which you need to give or which you need to write in your notebooks, so it should be like this, like Churchill is not just telling a story, he has a deep purpose in this lesson. He wants to show the importance of English language and it's practically in everyday life, and he also want to inform the readers that one should value his her national or mother tongue, and they ought to have a command over their mother language, whatever part of the world they are living. So they should not love their mother tongues but also serve and do justice with the other languages. And beside this, nobody can deny the importance of English language, so Churchill has also stressed on this. So this was all about the extending question answers as well. And then students, what you need to do that, as previously I already told you that you have to write all the question answers of each and every lesson in a separate English notebook. So again, you need to write all the answers very neat, very clean, very tidy in a separate book. It's not your assignment, it's a kind of your practice of each and every question. And what is your assignment which you need to write before the submission of the second assignment? So the assignment which I'm going to assign you is, here you can see on page 32. On page 32, write an essay on your experience of learning English or any other subject in school that gave you an advantage or disadvantage over other students. So try to bring humor into it if possible. Like humor means, like same was the case with the story of the Sir Winston Churchill, that if you go through the lesson, so he has shared some of the very funny and the humorous points related to his academic life as well. Same, just like same Mr. Sir Winston Churchill, you can also write an essay about your experience of learning English, and if it is possible, or it's up to you, if you want to give a touch of some humorous lines, that how was your experience of learning English, what were the different problems you have faced while learning this very important language. So it's up to you. Otherwise, it's not necessary that you should bring humor while writing the essay. So this is your essay. Kindly do your essay on time, and go through the lecture again, and you have to solve these question answers in your English notebook as well. Take care. Allah Hafiz.